Minutes, 30 seconds. This is always the best part for me.
Why?
I don't know. It's like getting ready to take off in my rocket ship. Well, how's everyone doing? This is Bob Gums of the Concern Forum, and I hope that you're having a great Saturday. I know I am. And we're going to have a very interesting and attractive guest today, which I'm sure we could all learn something from. One thing I wanted to point out, next Tuesday, our so-called president gives his first congressional speech. That's a joint congressional speech next Tuesday. And oddly enough, that same day, a congressional committee is going to begin the investigation of his campaign's ties to Putin and Russia. And I was just thinking it'd be very interesting if a guy that's possibly a traitor to this republic gets the opportunity to talk to both houses of Congress at the same time. It kind of makes me, and probably you too, wish for the days of the guy that they said came from Kenya, Barack Obama. I know I miss him. I guess you do too. Especially a certain group of guys in Kentucky, coal miners. Think Obamacare. And now, without any further ado, we are going to go to Miss Georgia Woodbine, graduate of Pace University, and also a noted author of a very interesting book called Total BS. Ms. Woodbine?
Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. I'm glad to be here. So yes, my newly released book is called Total BS, and it's not the total BS you're thinking. Total BS stands for body and soul. And as you talk about the election and what's going on in people's minds right now, I think a lot of people are really worried about the future. And one of the things I talk about in the book is how to really change the way you think so that it can impact how you look at life and the actions that you take. Total BS is about living a healthier lifestyle, mind, body, and soul, aligning the three. I talk about eating healthy eating. I talk about also how to exercise more, how all these things can actually impact how you're feeling. So you're not so focused on what's going on with the election and, really starting to position yourself where you can actually do something to take your mind off of it. I also talk about all the different steps that it takes. Meditation. Meditation is so important. I know a lot of people have not tapped into meditation, but I encourage you to, because it can help you in so many ways. When you meditate, it gives you clarity, it gives you focus, it gives you intuition. And these are all the little secrets and tips that I share in the book that personally helped me. I always tell people, I don't teach what I don't know, and I don't lead where I don't go. I am the example. Now, the reason I decided to write this particular book is because I wanted to present it in a way as once you discipline your thinking and discipline yourself, you can change anything. So I did it. I lost weight. I changed the way my body looked, and my whole point is I wanted to do something that was going to show people this is what you can accomplish when you change your thinking. Because I've been talking about this for over 11 years.
Tell me,
changing your thinking.
Is that really hard to do?
It is not. It all depends on what you look at as hard. I mean, if you really want to do something, you put your mind to it. Anything we want to do. So I think it can be challenging if you're used to doing a routine. Changing your thinking and changing your thought process, this whole thing about changing your thinking to change your life. it's challenging because you're so used to doing things a certain way. And majority of us do things and make decisions based on our past experiences. So in order to change that, you do have to change your routine, your habits, the things that you do so that you can get different results. So is it challenging? It can be, but you can get past that challenge if you're really ready for the change.
So this doesn't make any difference if you're, I don't know, 30, 60, 70, doesn't make a difference.
It doesn't have anything to do with age. It has to do with mindset. You know, they say the average person uses 10% of their brain power. So my question is, what happens to that other 90% of untapped potential that you have not touched yet? The other 90% where there's your gifts, the other 90% where there's your talents, your natural abilities, the things that you can use to live in your highest potential and your purpose.
Wow. Tell me something. What advice would you give to individuals, you know, really trying to make a change?
Well, the first step is to change your habits, because with anything, if you're doing something a certain way, what is that saying? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting to get different results.
Yeah.
So the first step is to change what you're spending your time doing, looking at where you're wasting your time. You know, if you really look at it, there's 168 hours in a week, and a lot of people, they'll say, oh, I can't do this because I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to do this. I don't have enough time to do that. But when there's 168 hours in a week, what are you doing with that 168 hours? I think once you start to laser in what you're doing with your time, you can better figure out how to manage that time. So, you know, it's so funny. I was working with a client, and they told me they've been trying to write a book for over 20 years. And I'm like, You're trying to write a book for over 20 years. Okay, so let's look at what's stopping you, because it's really about the obstacles that prevents you from getting to that next level or trying to figure out where you're trying to go in your life. So I always say, once you start changing your habits, that can be the pathway for you to change other things. So look at what you're spending your time doing, how you're spending your time, what you're wasting your time doing, and start there. And also looking at how you can start setting your goals for yourself. A lot of people, they don't believe in setting goals. And if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. You know, it's good to write down goals and write down things that you want to accomplish. These are some of the things I talk about in the book, Total BS. You write down what it is that you're trying to accomplish, whether it's in a year, then you work your way backwards, okay? What you want to accomplish in a year, then in 6 months, then in 3 months, and then in a month, because what you're doing daily is going to lead to you achieving that goal for the year.
You don't watch a lot of television, do you?
No, not really. People were saying, did you see this show? Did you see that show? And I'm like, I don't watch a lot of television. I really don't, because I'd rather spend my time doing something else.
See, when we were speaking earlier, that's one thing I didn't even think about asking you, but yeah, I could see how you don't watch a lot of TV. And that's something that...
a time waster.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing wrong. Okay, let me put it this way. It's nothing wrong with having that leisure time for entertainment. But it's about how much time you spend doing that particular thing. So, you know, with anything in life, it requires balance. You have to balance your life. And that's why I talk so much about the meditation piece. I mean, that is such a powerful piece, and even how it's changed my life.
Hey, why do you recommend meditation so much?
Because when you look at your life, you're so inundated with so much news, with so much things going on, with the what you hear on the radio, what you watch on television, what you hear people saying. This is a lot of information constantly coming to us. We're constantly inundated with all this information. And if you don't allow yourself time to pull away from that, just a silent time for yourself, just so that you can start to evaluate you and where you're trying to go. Because what happens when you're so inundated with all this stuff, you're focused on that. You're not focused on you. You're not focused on, what do I want to do in my life? What am I trying to achieve? What can I make better? what can I change? Because you're so focused on everything that's going on in the world. You're not thinking about you and what you can do to make yourself a better person. So why I recommend meditation is because when you meditate, it pulls you back from everything. It gives you a fresh look.
My God. It seems like you're talking directly to me, quite frankly. I find, just to digress for a moment, I find that this whole business, since this past election, it has really, proper term, eaten me up or eaten me up inside. And I'm not by myself. I've come across people in the subway, in the bus, psychiatrists. I think I mentioned earlier that psychiatrists have said this is psychologically the worst time in American history. People are so fearful. They're so apprehensive. They're so angry, And I'll be quite honest about it. I fall into that category. And see, that's something else I wanted to ask you. With the world changing like it is, we had a fairly decent president. Now we have what we have now. How do you keep up with that? How do you, balance that?
Well, the first step is, when you're angry at something and you put so much energy into it, they say it's a lot easier to think negative thoughts than positive thoughts, because to think positive thoughts, it takes a lot more work. It's easy to think negative. That's the first thing that comes to us, And when you take all that energy you have and put it into that negativity, all it does is drain you and eat at you and pull at you and confuse you, and it's really hard to get a grip once you're pulled in with all that negativity. That's why it's so important to take that energy, all that passion, all that energy that you have, all that motivation you have about whatever it is that you believe in, and put it into something positive. Turn it around. You can use that same energy to turn something negative into something positive.
Yeah, I think that's good advice, quite frankly. Now, what can readers expect when they buy your book?
Well, I say that I believe the timing of this particular book was ordained, because I feel because of where we are as a society, as a community, as a nation, people are fearful of what's going to happen next. And I talk about in the book how to really look at your life and how you can create something of purpose instead of looking at what you expect someone to do. A lot of times people in position, celebrities, we look at them like they're role models. Not everybody that's in the limelight is a role model. And we have to accept that, because when you expect somebody to do something and they don't do it, then that anger builds up in you, like they need to do what I want them to do. It's just like anything in life. Friends, family, you have expectations of people, but you shouldn't. Because when you start putting those expectations on people and expecting something to happen, you're going to get disappointed. So we have to start looking at things with a more open mind and not be so stuck on this is the way things should be done. Because any decision that's made, there's always going to be an opposition. It doesn't matter what it is. I really believe that, like I was saying, the reason why I wrote this book, Total BS, for this time, because I think it's really going to start getting people to start thinking about their life and what they've been doing with their life and where they've been spending their time, and just what it is why they're here, what is their purpose, what are they meant to do. I think people are really questioning that right now, and this book is definitely delves into where you are in life, where you're trying to go, how you're going to get there. These are some of the tips. And when I talk about healthier lifestyle, I'm talking about mindset too. That's why I said it's mind, body, and soul. I'm not just talking about going to the gym, getting fit, losing weight, even though that does help to give you more energy in the day. I talk about the foods that people eat that can make them feel depressed.
Whoa, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. You said foods?
I talk about certain foods that really impact how you feel and can actually make you feel depressed and can actually make you feel angry and can actually make you feel these feelings that you don't know at times why you're feeling.
Time out. So we getting into, I got to stop everything. I have to get into this. Now you're saying that foods can affect how we feel about ourselves.
Absolutely, especially sugar.
Uh-oh.
Especially sugar.
I'm in trouble. I'm in big trouble.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and it's so amazing because, of course, I did a lot of research on this. And, there's so many things that's available to us. I don't understand. I really can't understand why it's so hard to get on that path. There's so much information available to people. When I think about 10 years ago, or 15 years ago, 20 years ago, things were so different. Now there's information at your fingertips. So I believe that, getting the information that you need to help you get on track with your life, it's there for you. Take it, receive it, embrace it. Don't, refuse it because you say you want change. It's just like somebody saying, you know what, I'm not happy with this. I don't like the way this is going. But then they keep doing it over and over again. I'm not happy with this relationship with this person, but they stay in the relationship. I'm not happy with this job, but they stay at that job. I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with that. Doesn't matter what it is, but yet you won't take that step to change your situation. And I'm really digging deeper in this book to get people to really start digging into who is true self. Who am I really? As I mentioned before, true self. Who is true self? We, as a child, when we're born, when we're coming to this earth, our parents give us a name, right? That's the name that they gave us.
Right.
When we get a job, we get a title. That's the title they gave us. When a mother has a child, she's giving the title as a mother. So we're given these labels, but what's underneath all that? What's underneath the labels that we've been giving of a mother, of a daughter, of a sister, of a brother, of a father? What's underneath all that? There is a lot more to us that we have not yet tapped into. And that is the purpose of this book, for people to start digging deeper to find true self. Who is true self? There's so many people right now living life by default. What is living life by default? Basically living with whatever title you was given or whatever you think you should be doing with your life or whatever somebody told you should be doing with your life. That's living by default. Most of the times when you're living by default, you're stressed out, you're frustrated, you're angry, you're pissed off, and you're confused because you don't really know what it is you should be doing right now. That's when you know you're living by default. When you're living by the power of intention, the reason why you were put here on earth, your purpose, the true you, the reason why you were born, you start to tap into higher parts of yourself, to live in your highest potential, to figure it out. Why am I here? What am I doing here? You start finding out, I'm good at this. Oh, I can do this. Oh, this comes natural to me. It doesn't take work for me to do this. That's because you were born with that gift. So I really, the purpose of this book is to get people to start really digging deeper to find true self and start living the fulfilling lives that they can live. So let me ask you this. There's always a saying, the best things in life are for... Come on, you should know this one, Robert.
What? Best things in life are for free.
There you go. Free.
Yeah.
There's no price tag to it. The best things in life are for free. So what are the things that we do that doesn't have a price tag attached to it or a negative motive attached to it? we have to start figuring out what are those things that make us feel good. Focus more on what makes you feel good than what makes you feel bad. Because the more you focus on things that make you feel bad, is the more depressed, the more frustrated, and the more stressed you would be.
That doesn't mean that you avoid life per se, right?
Of course not. Of course not. There's always going to be things that happen to you that's negative that you don't like.
Right.
I'm just saying to try to keep your energy on a level where you're not so much focused on negative feelings. Negative feelings create negative thoughts. Negative thoughts create negative actions. Just like the reverse. Positive thoughts, positive words. You know, I talk about in the book the purpose of positive affirmations. Because remember I talked about we're all inundated with all this negativity and all these negative words and all these things.
Time,
so I talk about using affirmation, having an affirmation, you know, speaking positive words, you know, reinforcing those words. Look in the mirror in the morning. Speak positive about yourself. Look at the person that you see. Start to love who you see, because there's so much more to us than what's on the outside. And if you really take the time out, as like I talk about in the book, Total BS, Mind, Body, Soul, to remove yourself from everything that's going on, then you will start to see the bigger picture.
Would you say that this is about developing a certain mental toughness, or?
Of course it is. Of course it is. I mean, mental toughness, it helps you to get past major obstacles in your life, whether it's loss of a job, loss of a loved one, loss of your business, anything, any type of loss. So it really helps you to move past that and become stronger, because when you see your ability to get past those situations, and trust me, I could talk about this because I've been in those situations where I've lost a lot of things. And trust me, I know how that feels. You feel like, what the heck am I gonna do now? You know, you don't know where to start. You just feel like everything is just not going the way you want in your life, is not going the way you thought, and you just feel like a lot of bad things are happening to you. Yeah. You know, and it is hard. Trust me. Personally, I know it's hard. It's very painful. We all go through pain, but it's really about building yourself and realizing that all of these things that have happened to you, good or bad, is building you into the person that you're supposed to be. Because you cannot be passionate about what you do, or I could not be passionate about what I do, unless we've been through experiences to build us up, to make us stronger, to really see how we've gotten past those challenges so that we can now share with other people, well, this is what happened to me. This is how I got through it. Now I can share it with you. So I do think a lot of the decisions that we make are impacted by what we were exposed to. And until we start trying to just not make decisions based on, like I said, living by default, and start saying, well, there must be another way. That's why people say that. It must be something else. It has to be more to this life. You ever heard somebody say that?
Yes.
It must be more to this life than just this. Every day, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Nothing's changing. Nothing's going right. It must be more. I'm here to tell you there is more. As long as you're willing to take the time out to find it, there is more.
Before I let the time completely run away with me, you have some events coming up, don't you?
Yes.
Could you tell our folks about that?
Absolutely. I will be speaking at the International Women's Conference on March 11th at Hofstra University. And, you know, you could always go to my website, georgiawoodbine.com, because I have all the events listed there, the upcoming events. You can go to my social media, Georgia Woodbine, Walk the Talk with Georgia. You know, there's always information available for people to come out and, you know, come out and see me.
Okay. Unfortunately, I'm going to be someplace on the 11th. I wish I was going to be able to be at your affair there. Oddly enough, that's my birthday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, March 11th.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. I got to remember to text you for your birthday.
Okay.
Or give you that phone call.
Okay. Wow. Hey, what do you hope to achieve by sharing personal story with all of us?
You know, growing up and just seeing so many different things, I think that it's in you when you have a purpose. It's something that's always been in you, but you just have to learn how to tap into it. But my goal with this book is to really transform people's thinking, really, so that they can transform their lives. You hear a lot of people say, I'm a life coach, I'm a life coach, I'm a life coach. I am a life coach, but I'm a transformational life coach. It's about transforming minds to transform lives. And of course, all the books that I have and all the products and everything that I represent, it's about sharing my personal experience on how I was able to change and transform my life, to share it with other people, to let them know I was just like you. I was that single mom, raising a kid at a very young age and, trying to go to school and trying to work and trying to do it. So I totally relate. And if I can transform my life, so can you.
And I'm not trying to go off track here, because the Concerned Forum, we try to reach out to everyone, but I'll be quite frank about it. I think that your message especially has a great deal of meaning for all of us. But right now, I'm thinking in particular about the community that I grew up in, the African American community.
Right.
And I think that that's it's a very powerful message. I mean, everybody who watches my show will tell you, I'm sitting here and I'm like stupefied. and them folks will tell you, I run my mouth on this show. I usually do. But in your case, because I think the reason why I'm so captivated by all of this is because it's like how can I put it? You're walking with my spirit, because I have been there, and to be quite frank about it, I'm still there, but I'm starting to see a little light at the end of the tunnel, because the society, that's one of the bad things about American society. On the one hand, you got great opportunities and you have great riches, but on the negative side, you have so many things. Unfortunately, a lot of times it depends on who you are when you're born. We don't like to admit it, but we do. We have a very serious racial problem here in America. We also have a very serious class problem. And unfortunately, if you don't have your mind right and things happen to you, it's like trying to swim in Jell-O. You never get anywhere. And then by the time you're ready to leave this world, you're depressed as all heck because you feel that you really haven't accomplished anything. And I see what you're saying. I really see what you're saying, because I guess how we think about ourselves is the key. This is part of what we had in boot camp. And unfortunately, most of us that go through boot camp in the military, we forget a lot of those basic lessons. Obviously, we do. Otherwise, the country wouldn't be the way it is. But those are very good lessons. You were never in the military, right?
No.
Okay.
The military of life.
Yeah.
But we are creatures of habit, all of us. When you get in your car, if you drive a certain place, you drive that way, the same way every day. It becomes a routine.
Yeah. But I was driving when I was living down south, and I was driving. Yeah, it's very easy to fall into a rut.
We are creatures of habit. Do you notice that you cook the same foods over and over again? You very rarely try a new recipe. It's like, okay, this is what I'm used to cooking. This is what I know how it tastes. I'm going to cook this. Or even when you go to a new restaurant, you order the same foods. Rarely it's like, okay, I want to try this different, because you're so afraid I might not like this. I might not like the way this tastes. Yeah. So because we are creatures of habit, it is you know, it's normal to think the way we think and do the things that we do. But once you start coming outside of that box, I call it a box because it is a box. Because if you've been exposed to certain things your whole life and that's all you know, you don't want to come out of that box because you're so afraid. If you come out of the box, you're going to fail. If you come out of the box, things are going to fall apart in your life. If you come out of the box, you're not going to be loved. If you come out of the box, people won't appreciate you. So there's so many things about that box. When you do things by routine, you do things by habit, you stuck. It takes work to come outside of the box.
I don't want you to give the whole plot away.
Right.
But not just for myself, but for all of us fighting the battle of the waistline. Mm-hmm. What about the food?
The foods. Okay, so I talk about with the foods, the carbohydrates, because of course that's where a lot of your calories are. And really looking at portion control, because in the book, I'm not talking about starving yourself. It's never good to starve yourself or skip meals. Uh-huh. It's about portion control, the fistful logic. That's what helped me to lose weight. That's what helped me to get more energy, more vibrance, more, everything. I don't overeat. I watch what I eat. I do the portion control. I watch what I have for breakfast. Mm-hmm. I actually eliminated the bread from my diet. But, for some people, you could start out maybe.
No bread?
Right. But this is what I say. I'm not going to say just stop. You got to gradually build yourself up to that point. So if you do eat bread and you eat white bread, go to brown bread. Go to wheat bread. Then if you go to wheat bread, then you go from 2 slices to 1 slice. Then you go from 1 slice to half a slice, and then half a slice to no slice, because it's about retraining yourself. It's hard to kind of go cold turkey, and that's why most people, when they do a diet, it doesn't work, right, because you're so used to eating a certain way.
Now, in the Black and Latino community, mm-hmm, we have a terrible problem. In all seriousness, folks, we have a terrible problem when it comes to, what we eat, how we prepare it.
Right.
You have any recommendations on that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Instead of fried foods, gear more to steamed or broiled, really try to cut out the greasy foods. Mm. So, and also trying to, do more home cooking, because when you cook at home, you can control how much oil you put in the pot or whatever it is that you're cooking. You have more control over that. So I definitely recommend, more vegetables. You can never have too much vegetables. Broccoli, carrots. It's so good for you. It helps you.
Our first lady. Excuse me.
Former first lady.
Former first lady. That was a Freudian slip.
Right.
She was really big on healthcare and, positive. I don't want to say positive eating, but correct eating. She tried to set the tone for America in terms of trying to be healthy. Why some people, I don't know, seem to resent that, I don't know, but.
Well, yeah, I guess, my book is totally aligned with former First Lady Obama's health initiatives, because it's about, training your kids early how to eat, because like we talked about before, you do what you're used to. So if you're eating a certain way, then your kids are going to eat the way you ate, and then your kids' kids are going to eat the way that they ate. So really changing that cycle and start watching what your kids are eating, and exercise, the importance of exercise, the importance of maintaining your diet. Everybody's not meant to be skinny. Let's just face it. Right. So it's not about, I'm not, in the book, I'm not saying, okay, if you want to get to a size 4, it's not about that. It's about being healthy, eating healthy, healthy habits, watching what your intake is and how to balance your diet so that you're eating healthier, so that you can feel better. It's not just about losing weight. It's about, you want to feel better. You want to feel more energized. You want to feel good. You don't want to eat something and then later on say, oh, you know what? I shouldn't have ate that.
Right. You said something, just thought about that. Earlier, you had said something about some foods can make you depressed.
Of course, lots of foods with sugar because you have a high and then you have a low. When you have
Oh,
sugary
that's what
foods.
it is.
Of course.
Christ. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Because I have a confession to make.
Okay.
I'm a grown man, and well, like I say, I have a confession to make. I have an ungodly love for Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid. Okay.
Yeah, and cheesecake
Okay.
and desserts in general. See, it's all coming out, people. It's all coming
You're
out.
pulling it out, pulling it
Yeah.
out, pulling it out, pulling it out.
Yeah. And I tell you something, I see something else here too, because a diet, and don't be laughing because I know a lot of you out there are in the same boat I'm in, but seriously, I can see the correlation because the sugars bring in the highs and the lows, and then you're stuck in front of that television all the time, and especially if you're somebody like me, constantly into the news. Oh my God, I'm happy I haven't run through any walls yet or something. This is deep.
But
This is
it's so
very
funny you
deep.
talk about that sleep because that's another thing that's important, that we're getting enough sleep. We're getting enough rest. One thing impacts something else. So if you're going to bed late at night, you tend to snack. So you're going to be eating late at night. And your body is not able to metabolize that food. That's why they say it's better to eat 3 hours before you actually go to sleep, because then you give your body time to metabolize that food. So all of these, one negative habit, affects the next one. And so many people like, oh, I only need 4 hours sleep. No, we need more than 4 hours sleep.
Yeah.
We need more sleep to function, to re-energize, to rejuvenate. Sleep is so important, and I think a lot of people are missing out on it, but it can do so much for you. And it all goes back to a healthier lifestyle, getting more sleep. Make sure that you're getting your 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And, so that when you get up in the morning, you are more energized, that you have more energy, and you're not feeling so, it's almost like you ever get up sometimes because you don't get enough sleep, and you just get up and it's like I feel like I'm moving, but I'm moving very slow.
Yeah. Yesterday. No kidding, yesterday. Hey, tell me something. How do, as far as the change that you're talking about, people taking, how do you start? You just dive right into it?
No,
or?
well, you start by setting goals. I say with anything, you want to set a goal. Okay, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? Okay, I want to lose 15 pounds. Okay, this is what I'm going to start to do to accomplish this goal. Because I always say write things down, put it in your phone, wherever you want to put it. Because when you're looking at something, it's visible to you, you're looking at it all the time, and it definitely will motivate you. So set your goals on whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. If you want to, lose weight or go on a diet or even just eat more healthy, you know what I mean? If you just want to eat more healthy foods, then you say, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do. When I go to the supermarket, I'm going to purchase these items that are more healthy. So it's definitely about planning, it's about setting goals, and it's about taking small steps. I tell people it's not, you don't just jump from here to here. You have to, build yourself up to that point so that you can accomplish your goals. So it's about taking baby steps and about writing things down, setting goals, looking in your cabinet. What are the foods that you have? Do you have a lot of canned goods? Do you have a lot of salty foods? Do you have a lot of sugar snacks? Do you have, going in your cabinet, looking at all the stuff, and you just start reading the labels at what you're purchasing. A lot of times we'll buy something at the supermarket and they'll say, oh, it's 100 calories, but it's 100 calories if you eat a certain portion of that, not the whole pack.
She got me again.
So yeah, definitely start reading. Look at how many grams of sugar is in whatever it is you're buying. So just paying more attention and being, just definitely being more informed about what it is that you're trying to do and how to go about achieving that.
Hey, tell me something. Do you do requests like speaking in churches, well, obviously you're here, but
Right.
you know, sororities, fraternities, organizations.
Absolutely. I do public speaking. I speak at women's conferences. I speak at churches. I speak at, you know, for, it depends, you know, I'm just available to speak. It just depends on the market. But I would say that my market is more geared to, not this latest book, but my other books are more geared to women. But this book, Total BS, I mean, anybody can get it. Men, women, you know, young men, young women, because it's about really living a healthier lifestyle. And I think you can start that at an earlier age. You don't have to wait.
Is this your first book?
No, actually it's not.
Well, tell me about your other books.
So this is book number 6 for me. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this book. But I do have other books. I wrote a book called How to Choose Your Career Path and Charting Your Success. And that's really about how do you go about choosing your career and how do you go about getting mentors to help you get on that path to the career that you choose. And that book, I was able to get into high schools and colleges. So I actually created a curriculum around that book and taught it at high schools and colleges. And you know, I think it's so necessary right now.
Yeah.
And I wrote that book because even when I was 18, I didn't know what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? And even kids that go to college still don't know what they want to do.
No,
So
yeah.
I believe in looking at what your passions and what your interests are and really tying those with different types of careers that kind of tie into what you love doing so that it's not always about the money, you know, when you go into a career. And I think that if more people took that time out earlier and was guided the right way, they'd probably be in a career that they love more than they hate.
This is true.
And then, okay, so that was one of the books. And then I also have a book called How to Attract the Right Man into Your Life, No More Settling. And that, of course, is a relationship book. And like I said, it's so funny, though, Robert, every book that I've ever written, it's based on where I was in my life at that time. It's just really incredible because I was just writing about what I was going through. And when I wrote the relationship book, I was single for a long time.
Right.
And
well, are you still single? Or?
oh no, I'm married.
There you go. Ladies, get the book.
The book works.
It works.
The book works.
Yeah. Well, I am not going to write a book for men about how to attract the right mate. I don't think I'm qualified for that. You know, I can say that I've had one in my life, and unfortunately, she passed on.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
But I'm available.
He's available. Okay, he's available.
But what do you tell women, basically?
In the book, I talk about the red flags. I believe that there's always red flags when you meet people.
Give them a few, because I'm sure they'd like to hear them.
Look at how a man's interaction is with his mom, with his family, and with his children. That can kind of give you a good sense of his character, of how he treats the people that he loves. I also talk about some of the red flags is if, you know, you meet a guy and he doesn't want you to come to where he lives, it's pretty much a signal that there's somebody else in the picture and that's why you can't go to his house.
Right.
Some of the other red flags is I talk about like how he courts you. You know, I think that women need to raise the bar. You know, they need to start setting standards for what they look for in a relationship and not settle. And the book is really about stop settling. You know, stop being in a relationship just to be in a relationship, because in any relationship, you should grow. The other person should grow. It should be a give and take thing. It should be that you're adding value to each other's lives. And I think when people start looking more at what it is that they want, then they can say, you know what, this is not the right one, or this person is not the right one. But definitely, you know, I was young. I had my son when I was very young, so I never got the chance to date. And I think every woman and every man needs to go through that process of dating, you know, to get it out their system, to meet different people, just to do it. Because when you don't, it's like, and you're in a relationship, it's like, is this what I really want? I don't know, because I've never really met anybody else. Or, you know, so you definitely want to go through that phase of dating.
Let me ask you something real quick. Because, you know, I hear brothers talking all the time. And they feel that, well, you know, I'm a security guard, or I'm a maintenance man, or I'm a janitor, and I'm afraid to go and try to deal with a woman that I might feel is intellectually superior to me or what have you, because I don't have any social status. What do what advice do you have for those brothers?
Well, you know what? If a woman's not going to love you for who you are and accept you for who you are, then she's probably not the right woman.
Hear that one?
But at the same token, if you say you want somebody to be this, this, and that, you should be that yourself. You can't set high expectations for someone else and you're not there yourself. So the whole thing about a woman saying, well, or even a man saying, well, she has to have this and she has to have that, or he has to have this and he has to that, and you're still not at that place, then why would you expect that person to give you that if you're not coming to the table with it? So, we should also set a standard for ourselves and say, okay, well, if I'm here, then this is the type of person I'm looking for, or this is the type of person I'm looking for, and not try to, be in a place yourself and have these high expectations for someone else when you're not even trying to make yourself a better person, or you're not trying to do stuff in your life to, go forward, to be better. So, that's what I talk about in the book. But
that was your second or third book?
That was actually my number 5. Yeah, that was book number 5.
My God.
Book number 5. So yeah, go to my website, www.georgiawoodbine.com. I'm on social media. Like I said, I'm on Walk the Talk with Georgia on Facebook. I'm on Instagram as Georgia Woodbine. I mean, you should be able to Google me anywhere and you'll find information about all of my books and my materials and where I'm going to be speaking.
There seems to be a thread, though. I know that there are like 6 different books.
Yes.
But from listening to what you say and how you're saying it, I detect a thread.
There's absolutely a common thread with all of the books and all of the products that I do, and that common thread is self-love. Loving self first, and then figuring out who you are, what you want, and also going through the phase of bettering yourself, because I believe that we all have things that we have to work on. We're never always totally there. I think there's different things that we can do to develop ourselves personally and professionally. And I think the first step is really taking that time out to find out who you are and what it is that you want, whether it be in a relationship, whether it be in your finances, whether it be in your career, whether it be in your health. What is it that you want, and learning to love who you are, because that's the way God created you. This is who you are. And once you learn how to be comfortable in your own skin and appreciate and value yourself, then others will value you. But if you devalue yourself, then others will devalue you. So it's all about how you set the tone and set the standard on how you want to be treated and how, what you expect. But let me go back to with the common thread, the career book is about finding a career that you're passionate about, something that you love doing. The relationship book is attracting the right man into your life and not putting yourself out there so that you are attracting all the wrong men, because it seems to be like a pattern. You know what I mean? Like if you meet people and you find that you're in a relationship, it's almost like you get involved with the same type of people over and over again. So really looking at, well, why am I attracting these type of people if this is not what I want? Yeah. Start looking in the mirror, looking at yourself. What is it about me that I'm attracting these type of men, or what is it about me that I'm attracting these type of women? And then the total body and soul, which is the latest book, Total BS, which is really about taking the time out to really start setting goals for yourself and actually taking action to make those things happen. We can accomplish anything we put our minds to. The mind is such a powerful thing. I think if most people started like really lasering in on how powerful they are as individuals and their potential and the unlimited opportunities that's around them, they wouldn't live in that little box as I was talking about before. And being healthy is about not being in a box. Being healthy is about being happy, being fulfilled, living your best,
No.
feeling good, being healthy, eating the right food so that you are energized, exercising. All these different pieces is about living a healthier lifestyle. It's so funny because one of the chapters in my new book, Total BS, that I talk about is living in a material world. And that chapter, oh, look, something sparked. I see something sparked in here.
No, please, go ahead. Go ahead.
But living in a material world is what do we value? What were we taught as children, and what do we look at as value, and how sometimes possessions of things, people associate that with how valuable you are, and that is so not true.
I'm glad you said that, because I start to see where you're coming from. It's not about being narcissistic, and not thinking that, well, the whole world revolves around me. To me, it seems like it's more, how can you benefit other people when you yourself feel that you are of no benefit? And I think, especially in this country, tell me something. I'm listening to a lot of this, and the thought crosses my mind, why is this such a problem in this country? I mean, I've seen a very large part of the world, and we're different here, where we actually, the things that you're saying, we actually, that we actually need the kind of help, the kind of instruction that you're offering. I just wonder why. Why is it like that here? Why do we feel so pressured? In case you don't know, I think there's only two places, Japan and the United States. We have the highest rate of suicide on the planet. Why is that? We see more psychiatrists than any place else. We have the highest unwanted pregnancy, the highest in drug addiction, the highest in alcoholism. I mean, all these negative things. And what the Europeans say about us, it's true. We are the most consumer mad people on the planet. And I don't know if you feel that you can possibly shed some light on this. Absolutely. But why?
Well, we're constantly being fed that. When you watch a commercial, you see a car commercial, they're like, this is going to make you feel good. Like, everything that you see that's thrown at you is like, you would be better, you would feel better if you have this thing. And basically what I'm saying in this book, Total BS, is that it's not the things we're really seeking. It's the experiences that we're speaking. It's the feel-good experience when we get these things, when we're living in a material world. Because once you get this thing that you feel is going to make you feel complete, or going to make you feel happy, or going to make you feel fulfilled, and you get tired of it, now you want something else. So it's not so much about the material things that we look at that's going to make us feel complete. It's the actual experience, that feel-good experience. And that's why I talk about in the book, there's so many ways to get that feeling, that feel-good feeling, or that feel-good experiences that can make you live a more fulfilled life without feeling like something's missing. And because we're so inundated with all this stuff telling us, you need to drive this kind of car, you need to live in this kind of house, you need to have this amount of money in your bank account for you to be valuable or accepted or even looked at as successful. But what is success really, and what is successful? Just because you have tons of money in your bank account and you can buy anything you want doesn't mean you are fulfilled. Because a lot of times you'll see people that have the things that other people think that they want, and the people that have the things that they want are probably missing out on certain things in which they have the things that other people don't want.
This is true.
So it's really about finding out what it is that truly makes us happy. What is happiness? What does that feel like? A lot of people don't know how to identify with what is happiness. Because if you ask somebody what would make you happy, they'd probably say, oh, if I won the lottery, that'd make me happy. I'd be all good. If I won the lottery, I'd be good. But what is happiness? What does it mean to you? What does that feel like? What does that taste like? And I think when you start digging deeper, like I said before in my book, Total BS, you would see that it's really about getting to those, going deeper and figuring out what is it that motivates you to, or what motivates you or why you are attracted to certain things that you feel is going to make other people look at you in a different way, because it's all about pleasing other people and putting on an image and portraying a certain way so that you can be accepted.
Okay. That's given me a lot of food for thought, because I find it so sad in this country, the things that we do to each other, and it transcends race. It really does. About, when the hell was it? About 2 years ago, I was working temporarily for the city, and I was in one of the parts of the the social services department, and it used to really break my heart, literally, and it used to make me so sad, because you would have a lot of women come in, most of the time with kids, and they were like displaced because they had been with a partner that was, mean. Well, not mean, the hell with that, but physically abusive, what have you. And I would wonder sometimes, why do some people gravitate to that sort of thing? I had a couple of the girls I went to school with. They wound up in that same type of situation, and they were, my opinion, they were very, attractive ladies and everything. But, I never could figure it out. Why, would you subject yourself to this? Why would you be around someone that has a propensity for illegitimate violence, and listen to what you've said.
Goes back to self-love.
Yeah.
Goes right back to that.
Yeah.
Because if you're in a relationship and you feel like this person loves you, it also has to do with what you've seen as a child as love, or what you was exposed to as a child, and continue in that same behavior pattern of even how you was treated, how the relationship you have with your dad. What you look at, how you look at men, and how you look at the way that you should be treated. So all of these things, I do think, impact the choices and decisions that we make. As I mentioned before, we make decisions based on our past experiences, because that's what we know. If you don't know anything else, that's all you know, and that's all you're going to continue to know until you get outside of that and start to experience something different. But, I think it has a lot to do with feeling like maybe maybe they got to escape from something else by being with this person and thought, okay, this person loved me and they're gonna value me, but if you don't have self-value, it's not about somebody else. It's about you knowing your value as an individual and saying, you know what, I am worthy, I am valuable, and I can do more. And if you don't have that, then you make those types of decisions.
Tell me, have you ever, kind of diverging, no, not really. Have you ever worked with any agency or anything that helps people in that kind of a situation?
Well, I do. I have the Keys to Success Angel Club, which is a part of my organization, where I donate products to women's shelters, to leadership groups for young minorities. So I do have different organizations that I donate products to annually is called the Keys to Success Angel Club. And I do go out sometimes and donate my time and speak to people in those kind of organizations.
Because I'm just wondering, I'm glad that you said that, because once again, looking at the black, brown community, I would say that folks of your outlook are definitely needed.
Yeah.
It truly is, because a lot of the things I see since I've been back, I think that that's one of the probably one of the only things that makes me a little bit different than most people, having spent so much time out of the country, or out of the city, out of the country, and then coming back. And, for the first several years that I was back, I was basically in the hospital.
Wow.
So when I come out, like I said earlier, it's kind of like starting over, and not just starting over on one level, but also looking at the city and what goes on with a real fresh pair of eyes.
Right.
And I look at that, that situation, or excuse me, that experience that I've had, and I guess you can take that same thing, people not feeling their own self-worth, and then I look how many people are treated on some of the jobs that you have out here. And I say, I'm always saying to myself, why do people put up with that bullshit? And it all boils down to the same thing.
Absolutely.
You don't believe in your own self-worth. And that could be, I think that might be one of the biggest problems that we have in this country.
That could be detrimental to your health.
Yeah. And you know what? I think it's also talking about the situation in the so-called, what do they call it now? Inner city. What are we now? We used to be the ghetto. Now we're the inner city. But I think that that's one of the biggest problems that we have. Because, and this is not getting political, this is just about life.
Absolutely.
You look at Chicago, for example, and some people who are political, they try to use that to stigmatize everybody in the city. But the question comes to mind, why are they so quick to do violence to each other?
Right.
And I'm thinking now, it's the same thing. Like when you talk about, women who constantly go through abusive cycles in relationships, it works for men too.
Right.
Because apparently we don't have the belief in our own self-worth. So we see somebody that looks like us, so bang, we go ahead and blow them away, because we don't see the humanity, we don't see the worth in that person, because we don't see it in ourselves.
Right.
Oh my goodness. I knew this was going to happen. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Listen, this has been a great experience, and I want to thank you, and I'm sure the family out there wants to thank you for taking the time to come, and enlighten us. And it might not look like it, but I've truly been enlightened today. I do hope that we can plan to see you in another few weeks, because this has been very enlightening. And I want to thank you for coming on board.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
You can go to my website, www.georgiawoodbine.com. Thanks for having me. Anytime.
Thanks for being.
Okay.
Listen, you folks have a good Saturday. See you next weekend. Bye. Wow. Very interesting. Let me
Off the air now?
Yeah, just about. Let me turn this thing on.
I think we went past the time, Robert.
Oh, don't worry.
We definitely went past the time.
They will.
They'll edit it.
Yeah.